Good morning. I hope everyone is well. Today should be good afternoon for some of you. We're going to start today parabolas day 1 and 2, and this is just the unit 9 part. We're not going to go into the standard form or into the general form just yet. We're going to just work on the standard form for this equation. Now we've done these before in this day 1. This is the standard form, again, that you need to memorize or that you need to get on your card. And it's the ones that open vertically, up or down. So you need to memorize this formula right here. And it's important that you remember it. Like I said, it's better really to remember it than depend on the card, because some of you will probably forget your card. But what we haven't looked at before, this is the way we saw it, if you remember, when we did it before, was y equals x minus h squared plus k. Well, that's different than this form. Actually, let me just there was something else that we had that was on there. It was y equals a. And if you remember, this was what we used to translate the formula and move it on a graph. The k here was how much it was up and down, the h was the left and right, and the a was the stretch or shrink. Well, what's happened in this, as we go from this formula to this formula, my k is moved over, so now it's y minus k. And instead of a, we have the plus or minus 1 over 4c. And because we've kind of expanded on that a little bit, we can get more information on a graph. Looking at this graph here, or this example, what we'll need to do is find c. We'll take that number in front and we'll find c. And we have a focus right here. You can see where the focus is. That is c units up from the vertex. A directrix is a line, which is c units down from the vertex. And the vertex is hk. We've already done that. Then from the focus, if you go 2 c units to the left and 2 c units to the right, right here and right here, we'll be at points on the parabola. And those are also 2 c units, each of them, from the directrix. And that works into the definition of the parabola: the set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed line called the directrix and a fixed point not on the line called the focus. And so 2c is the same distance from the focus and the directrix. And if we moved up to any other point on the parabola, they would be the same distance from the focus as they were from the directrix. So we're going to graph the following parabolas. We're going to get used to graphing using this form. And so we're going to first look at our basic formula, and you're going to look at the 1/8, and the 1/8 is positive. So if this number in front is positive, just like it always was, we're going to say that this parabola opens up. So this one opens up. Then we're going to read the vertex. Well, there isn't an h and k, so in essence what we have is y equals 1/8 x minus 0 squared plus 0. And that's how we end up with just the 1/8 x squared. So our vertex, if there's not a k there or an h there, then our vertex is at the origin, or at 0, 0. So we can go over and mark our vertex. So I want you to go over and put your point here and put a V there. That's the vertex. Now we're going to go back and look at some more things on our formula. Well, what is C? If 1/8 is 1 over 4c, okay, 1/8 the number in front of the parentheses, the x squared, is the same as, that's our 1 over 4c. Well, that must mean that 8 is equal to 4c, and when we divide 8 by 4, so c is equal to 2. So we're going to go back and put that in the blank, that c is equal to 2. Now we can find our directrix and our focus. Okay, so we go back over, and 2 points, since it opens up 2 spaces from the vertex here, go up 2 spaces, and we'll have our focus, so mark that with an F. And that's and 2 spaces behind or underneath the vertex is the directrix. So that's a line. So you'll mark that under the vertex. Okay, and so this is your directrix here. Now when we go over and write that in the blank, then since the directrix is a line and it's a horizontal line, it's at y equals -2, because that's where that line is. It's 2 spaces under those under 0, where y is 0. The focus then is 2 spaces up from the origin, so it's at 0, 2. And so you'll mark the point for your focus and write the equation of the line of your directrix. Then we know from our thing up here that we have points on the parabola that are 2c away from the focus left and right, that will be actual points on the parabola. So we need to find, so we have 2c, and c is equal to 2, so 2 times 2, 2c is equal to 4. So we'll go 4 places from the focus, so start at the focus and mark 4 spaces to the right here, and this is 2c, and we'll go 4 spaces left of the focus, and that's another 2c that we're moving away from the focus, and that's where we calculate. And then we can write those points here on our x and y. One of those points is at 4, 2, and one of them is at -4, 2. And it's pretty easy then. We use those 3 points to draw or to sketch this parabola. So it's going to come in and come here through that point, through the vertex, and up through the other point. And that will be the parabola that we draw. You're going to use those 3 points that you've marked to sketch your parabola. Okay, so we've got 2 more examples. So let's go to the next page. And we're going to look at these 2 examples. Now, here we do have an H and K. We look first, which way does it open? Well, since there's a negative sign here, that means it's going to open down. So this one opens down instead of up, because that number in front of the x squared term is negative. Now our vertex, remember when you read out a parentheses, or this is y minus 2, so that's going to be a positive 2. Remember the basic equation. This was y minus k here. So our k, when we look at it, is a positive 2. That's the y value. And to get the plus 3, again it's x minus h, so the plus 3 is going to be x minus negative 3 to get that plus 3, so that our negative 3 is our vertex. So in this case, we feel like we're changing the sign of both the h and the k. Now, in this case, our c, we don't worry about the negative, because the negative we took care of when it opens down. So we're going to say the c is 1/4 equals 1 over 4c. Okay, so in other words, 4 equals 4c. So 4 over 4c is equal to 1. And then 2c will be equal to 2 when we need that. So where is our focus in our directrix? So let's put it on the graph. We're going to put our vertex on the graph at negative 3, 2, right here. Okay, and that's our vertex. And our focus, since it opens down, our focus is underneath the vertex, one space. So this is our focus. And the directrix is above the vertex, and that's a line going through that space, one place above the vertex. Okay, so this is our directrix. So the equation of the directrix is y equals 1, 2, 3. So for our directrix, we have y equals 3. And our focus is a point, which is at negative 3, 1. Now we need to find the two spaces that are actually beyond the parabola. And we go 2c on either side of the focus. Remember, not the vertex, the focus. And we said that 2c was equal to 2. So you count two spaces to the left and right of the focus, which would be here and here. And draw in your parabola. This one's narrower than the one we drew in before. So it's going to go this way and down, and this way and down. And we know it opens down because of the negative in front of the 1/4. All right, our last one for this set of notes. Did a little different example. Same process though. And we know that this is a vertical parabola because the x term is the squared term. If the y term, which we'll see in the next set of notes, is squared, then it faces left or right. So to read the vertex, remember it feels like we're changing the sign. So our x is going to be negative 4 and our y will be negative 6. 1/12 is going to equal 1 over 4c. So 4c is equal to 12, and then c will be equal to 3 when we divide by 4. 2c will be equal to 6. We'll need all those numbers to graph, but we're going to write here that c is 3. So let's go and plot the vertex and find our focus and directrix, but we need to know which way it opens. There's a positive 1/12, so that means that the parabola opens up. So we have a vertex at negative 4, negative 6. So right there is our vertex. All right, 3 spaces, and since it opens up, 3 spaces above that, C space is above it, in this case 3, is the focus. 3 spaces below that will be a line called the directrix. That's your directrix. So we'll write those points on the graph. This is going to be negative 4, negative 3, for our focus. And we're going to be at y equals -9 for our directrix, way down underneath that vertex. Then we have to go, in this case, 6 spaces away from the focus, left and right, to find those points on the parabola. So we're going to count 6 spaces from the focus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. And that point will be -10, -3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces here, which is going to be 2, -3. Those are, and again, the reason we know those spacings because that's 2c in both cases. 2 times 3 are 6 spaces away from the focus for those points that are going to be on the parabola. And we draw in the parabola using those 3 spaces. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so that is vertical and horizontal parabolas using the standard form of a parabola. And in 9.3 we'll cover the horizontal form graphing of parabolas.